Hello and welcome to another ALTTP Daily Race. Today we have a main tournament flags race, which will be a standard random swords hard item pool. We will be featuring Radical Sniper 99, Dazed Cloud, Incoherent, and Jossum Sauce. I'm Zethno and I will be here with Drossi. Drossi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I almost said the one, but it's not there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. Any initial thoughts, comments?
Well, we should, since Chad is wondering already about Dazed Cloud's file name, we should remark that Kern, a very long-time runner, announced his retirement today, effective this weekend. So,
Oh wow.
he's contributed a lot to the community over the last 4 years. Run the spoiler tournament. Anyway, we are underway here. Uncle warning us about the price on our head.
50 rupees. That's not particularly helpful at the moment.
Yes, Chap pointing out that Kern is in fact the namesake of the Kern jump, so even if you haven't heard of Kern, you've heard of his jump. That looked like regular crystals in Eastern and Desert and a pendant in Tower of Hera, but if they had any special colors to them, I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't either. So I guess the one thing right now, as our runners are going through the same checks that they always do, is the big thing we're looking for is there a bomb in the drop pool? And the guard dropped a full magic first. I believe that means no, but we do have a bow and a lamp.
Yeah, that's kind of screaming Eastern Palace already for when they get out of here. And Eastern is a crystal, so I would expect to see that as a pretty early play from most of these runners.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Again, it's something we go over a lot in these races, but if you can finish a dungeon and it's a crystal, go for it, right?
That is, in fact, a lesson I learned from Kern originally. ABCD, always be clearing dungeons.
Oh. Yeah, it really just is a thing, though, that if you're going to road it and you have to do the dungeon anyways, you may as well do it.
Now, there's a mushroom in the map chest, so that's also kind of on the eastern side, not the easiest thing to get you to turn in, but if you're going to eastern anyway, it seems like maybe some of these runners will try turning it in early as well.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if we get a bomb from the rats. I'm kind of hoping that they kind of don't. It sucks for the runners.
Oh, I just want Boots to show up.
No, it's that no bombs in escape. You don't, and then like your first glove is in the back of escape, and you have to walk all the way through it to go get it later. I have had this before, which is why it's something on my mind.
While we are introducing the runners, though, it's also worth noting that Radical Sniper and Jossum Sauce requested to be on the restream together so that they could partially reunite Team Amish Paradise from League Season 3.
Yeah, so the top side of the screen is teammates running up against each other, trying to beat each other out. So we'll keep an eye on how they do against each other.
Well, that's what happens as we transition to the main tournament, everyone for themselves.
Yep, and look at that. Jossum Sauce already in the lead. Look, he's already got it.
Insurmountable, clearly.
Oh yeah, there's no possible way for Radical Sniper to catch up, and just for any newer runners or viewers were being completely sarcastic with
let alone Dazed Cloud or Incoherent.
Yeah, everybody kind of has this idea of like how fast you should be doing escape, and there's times people check to see if they did it in the right amount of time. But when you think about it realistically, this 10 to 15 second difference in escape, it does not make a giant impact on the race. It is so rare for them to come down to like a 10-second, 5-second difference in the end.
Yeah, and I'm sure there will be routing divergence later on that will make a lot more than 10 seconds of difference, even apart from execution differences.
Yeah, I find getting that good time and escape just kind of puts you in that right mindset. Like, oh, okay, I'm having a good night. I'm playing well today.
So here we go to Dark Cross. There is a possibility they could find bombs in this chest here, in addition to if they can get them as a drop.
Definitely could be. We'll be seeing our first rats in the next room, too. Oh, no, actually, that had to be a key. We knew that. We knew that, but neither of us was looking at the key count.
I wasn't either.
And arrow drop pack, no bombs. No bombs in escape. So that probably figures that Sanctuary chest will have bombs. Just because.
Probably. And there's probably a glove in the back of escape or something that's just going to make things painful.
But amusing for us and the viewers.
Yes, it's like the Roman circus. Their suffering is our amusement, right?
Exactly. And this is why I commentate and not run so much. But coming out of here, so I assume we'll see a lot of our runners go over to Kakariko from here?
Yeah, I mean, even though Eastern is full clearable in logic, you probably don't want to do that on 3 hearts. Okay, the sword helps.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw it on Incoherence side, and yeah, that sword definitely makes things a little bit more pleasant. That just feels like a delayed assured sword. Instead of getting it right at the starting of Escape, you got it at the end of Escape instead.
And as Dazed gave us a map check, yeah, it looked again just like 2 regular crystals and a non-green pendant on Hera.
I have managed to not be looking at the player who checked their map both times. So I'm glad you're catching it.
And that looked like a full heart container on Lumberjack.
Oh. Yeah, no, I was watching Radical pick up the money in the Lost Woods. 300 rupees. I mean...
Yeah, that is... Oh, and that was also 300 that Jossum got from the... whatchamacallit, from the witch.
So a lot of money in this seed. We are not going to see the hula hand glitch.
And we may also get an early Zora play, though Zora is not in logic until we find either a glove or a flipper.
Yeah, but when you have runners like these, who's following logic that closely?
If they're going to fake flipper, they're probably going to wait for the moon pearl so that they can use this lovely bug to check the waterfall cave on the way.
Or boots, but yes. Can water walk up there instead. Oh yeah, okay, we got that check. I'm pretty sure that's normal, and pendant up on Tower of Hera.
Hey, so you've noticed what item has just shown up on the tracker from Bottle Vendor, right?
The cape?
Yeah, do you know what that puts in logic?
Aga.
8-minute Aga access.
That's... You know, I saw the runners pick it up, but it didn't click. That... Ew. 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 As a runner, that's the thing. Getting an early cape is always like, no, I didn't want that. I did not want that.
Especially when the game went to the trouble of giving you an early lamp as well.
Yeah. We got a lamp, a sword, and cape before we get out of Kakariko Village. That's pointing that way. On the other hand, we didn't need what was on the ledge. So, Moon Pearl on Pyramid?
Or just like the gloves buried in the Dark World could be something simple like that.
Glove, hammer. Nope,
Oh,
there's the first glove.
Okay.
It could be the other glove or the hammer still.
And that also means we can get back to Back of Escape much more easily.
Or yeah, that does give them that access. That's unfortunate for viewers, but really good for the runners. Now, what I was just thinking is when you get that situation of maybe we get the Moon Pearl, and then we find out that our hammer or our mitts are somewhere like Helmasaur.
Okay, and with that
Can't be
book,
hammer,
unless Desert is boots locked, we can do Desert, and there's the Moon Pearl, so I'm not sure what the seed's telling us.
The hammer or the mitts could still be in the Dark World and require Aga.
That is entirely true, but then you have to wonder what's in Eastern and Desert that the seeds gone to such trouble to give us, full access to them.
Absolutely nothing, and the seed is just tricking our runners.
Well, if nothing else, we can get 2 crystals before we have to do Aga.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
I didn't catch Sick Kid, but it didn't look like anything useful.
We're going to get it on Incoherent side again right here. Money.
More money!
So, seeds like, hey, you want to be rich?
And Zora is now in logic with that glove. Though the logic doesn't factor in money.
Even if the logic doesn't factor in, our runners have so much that it doesn't matter.
Definitely. And hey, there's like bombs in the Back of Escape to replenish the bombs that you didn't have to get there.
Of course. Yeah, it's as much as we like joking around about the Aga, I don't think we're gonna see it for a while. Well, since the seed has given us this much money, Zora's got to be absolutely nothing, right? Just cause.
Probably. And for things the seeds opened up, we also have Death Mountain access, though without either the mirror or the hookshot, we can't do much once we get there.
Unless one of those is in Spectacle Cave.
Or on the Old Man.
Or an Old Man, yeah. Yeah, that happened once. Hookshot on Old Man. that was... That's always something. We got 2 runners on the eastern side.
To answer chat, there are 5 packs of 300, so maybe the others will also show up quickly. Oh, there's our mirror.
Speaking of mirror, and wow, and Kane. Well, Saha,
so
you were keeping all our important items in your closet.
So, for those of you playing along at home, we now have access to all 3 Light World dungeons and can clear them, assuming Desert isn't boots locked.
Yeah, this is... Now, again, out of logic, all we need is mitts, and we can already do ice as well. Just because I'm thinking because of the cane, it just makes it very fast to do those checks.
Yeah. Now, Radical Sniper is the only one doing the South Shore checks. Our 2 runners on the bottom have already made it to Eastern.
I feel like South Shore, no matter when you're going to do it, eventually you're going to have to. It's one of those things, there's so many checks there, and they're all Sphere 1, that eventually you'll be going looking for it.
And it was just more money anyway.
Are we going to have a repeat of Monday Night's Daily, where, like, the first 4 finishers were all done in about an hour and 10 minutes?
And we can all get to sleep at a reasonable hour.
Yeah, that was really nice for the 11 o'clock race. It was nice not to keep everybody up.
Okay, so South Shore's a bust, and Sniper is not going to do any fake flippering quite yet.
I haven't seen anything too important come from Eastern, but the Eastern adjacent checks were worth coming over here just because of that. Oh, Jossum Sauce is joining our bottom runners in Eastern, and so is Radical. Hey, 4 runners in Eastern Palace simultaneously.
Maybe we'll see some nice swaggy moves with that Cane of Samaria that they all picked up on the way in.
Some of our viewers are asking about sleep and what it is. That's the thing where you accidentally closed your laptop a little bit too far and it decides to turn off on you.
Now, with the vanilla big key chest in Logic, we can see that both of the runners on the bottom are going to that chest and don't want to take the risk that the third item might be there.
Yeah, it's one of those plays that I've seen a lot of runners making recently, and it's such a risk. If there is something important in that chest, wow, like it takes so long to walk through this entire dungeon again just for that check.
Especially if you don't have the boots.
Yeah. Now, today's map.
Oops.
Which our runners definitely would not have come back for.
So yeah, we'll see if either of the runners on top decides to take that gamble and go straight for Armos, because if so, it'll pay off.
Yeah, I've seen it hurt runners more often than help them recently.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen people orphan the ice rod there.
Yeah, that's not fun. And of course, when are you going to come back to walk through an entire already cleared dungeon with a relatively long path just for one check? There's always a faster check somewhere in the world.
It's like when you gamble the back of Thieves' Town without the hammer and it turns out something important's in the big chest.
Oh, yeah, that one sucks too. The best is when the hammer ends up being somewhere like Digging Game immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Going, well...
I've seen multiple seeds where runners did that and the Titan's mitts wind up being vanilla.
So that was a very good kill on Days Cloud side. Days doing the top setup for the fast kill. Incoherence going from the bottom right, but looks like it's going to be about the same. Did he? Nope. Slightly missed that last hit, but still a very good fight.
And we've got our very own Lagamarang for our troubles, too. Ooh, is Sniper going for the back? Sniper's going for the back.
Ooh, he's skipping it. The one runner that'll benefit from that. But the one thing to kind of keep in mind with Armos Knights is any damage you do to the last alive Armos Knight will reset back down to no hits when he turns red. But if you can get that third arrow in before that, then you can get a very quick kill.
I was so proud of myself when I figured that out as a kid.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a good strat, but once in a while it gets messed up, as you saw on Incoherent side.
And speaking of Incoherent, he actually inquired about that green pendant and just found out that it's in Misery Mire.
Oh, good, a dungeon we're not going to do.
Means we also may not have the flute this seed.
So here we go, quick kill on Radical's side. He will be taking it from the top left, top right corner, like Dazed. And
ooh. If he hadn't taken the hit as the Armos came around, I think he would have done it.
Yeah, so in general, the bosses in this game don't like hugs. They really don't like touching, so hugging them is just generally a bad idea.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to keep 6 feet, right?
Yes. Well, hey, they like that even before this this whole mess that's going on now. They were just ahead of the times.
There we go. And
6 pixels. There's a comment in chat. You gotta stay 6 pixels away.
Oh, it's not 6
like
squares,
that.
it's just 6 pixels, I see.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. Ooh, I think Jawsome Sauce shot 1 extra arrow at that Armos Knight and will not be getting the quick kill.
Yeah.
I've done that, and I've seen a lot of runners do it. It's a very common thing. You just kind of hit it a little bit too much.
So now what's Radical Sniper doing here in Kakariko? Oh, did he never turn in the bottle? I guess not.
Guess not. We are seeing both our bottom runners have had very similar routes. We've seen them relatively following each other all game.
Yeah, they were quite synced at one point in Eastern, I noticed.
Yeah, and they're both doing South Shore. They're just doing a lot of the same checks in the same order. Whereas the two teammates, who you would think with their practicing and playing together after all this time would have similar routes, are diverging quite nicely.
And it looks like Radical Sniper's going to be our first runner on Death Mountain here.
Actually, that's a good point. It helps our trackers for the bottom because they're doing the same checks. So you can just click one and click the other.
And also, we know from the top runners that this is junk. That they'll get some money, but that's about it. Maybe a heart.
But on that note, got to shout out our trackers who are helping us out tonight. We got Professor Pixie and Make Walk Herd.
Mad Ewok Herd.
Oh, Mad Ewok. Oh, that makes more sense. Sorry.
Took me a while to learn that.
Pronunciation there. Mad Ewok Herd. That makes a lot more sense. I apologize. I know they're in chat and they're listening, so sorry. Usernames can be hard sometimes.
Yes. And our bottom runners are both fake flippering, so we will now see what is out of logic here and what is in logic in Zora.
Yeah, the sync on the bottom. I think the username thing, I put an extra letter in there that made it more sense, until I started reading it on stream, and then I figured out that I added a letter. So what do we get under the bridge?
Okay. Pod is our remaining pendant, it looks like, and our 5/6 crystals are Turtle Rock and Skull Woods.
Yep. So that's interesting. We did get the bug net, which is the super important item that we won't be using all game.
But hey, in Swordless, it can be very useful on Aghanim.
I mean, our runners could still use it on Aghanim. I just wouldn't suggest it.
And there's a bottle of red goo on Lake Hylia Island, probably not coming back for that.
Okay, so we got the small key on Radical side, so that's not a good sign, because it probably means we're going downstairs. We are going downstairs.
And without the hookshot, Harapotting isn't even an option. Also, the runners on the bottom are very lucky that that piece of heart didn't give them an extra heart container, because if it did, it would kill the water walk.
Oh, yeah, that's always fun. Radical having a little bit of issues with this coffee break strat. Just not going to do it at all. The interesting thing here is that what he's doing is a pendant.
But there are 2 items in here, and they're both upstairs.
Yes, this is a lot of time that I don't think we're going to see the other runners do right now. So I wonder if he's making it figuring the other runners won't?
I mean, it was basically this or Desert or Aga at this point, right?
Yeah, I still think... I don't know. No one else is here, so the other runners obviously didn't want to do this particular play yet.
Looks like Dave's Cloud is making for the desert now, probably checking Agena too while he's there. This will be anywhere between 2 and 4 items from the area because we know we can get Desert Ledge, we know we can get Aegina, and then the only question is, can we get any items out of Desert?
So it looks like we may have that access in the Dark World, needing an Aegina. Or no, Aghanim. Sniper not doing the... Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Not doing the bomb jump because he doesn't have a way to get back. No boots.
I mean, you'd have to bomb jump back.
Bomb jumping back with that ball coming at you is very tight.
And guess what? That was just a big 20, and Moldorm has our other item. And we are going to have to fight Moldorm the vanilla way. So we got Moldorm, we got... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, comment in chat. Yeah, if you bomb jump, you don't trigger the sensors, so you can just walk back. It's the if you have the hook shot and you want to do it the hook shot method, you want boots to jump back over.
Still, if you're not feeling comfortable with your bomb jump, I don't blame doing it the vanilla way.
Yep. That was a pretty good kill on Radical's side, actually.
Yeah. Feels nice to get the Enraged Storm down, and that's more junk.
Bombs. Yeah, so that's the completed pendant dungeon with nothing important, unlike what's in Desert.
And that also means that Desert is boots locked, so Daze Cloud can just immediately nope out, and he's going to see a lot more of Death Mountain when he goes up there.
Yeah, but look at that. All 3 of our other runners did Death Mountain first.
Daze Cloud's gamble pays off. He figured that book had to be pointing to something, and without the Master Sword, it wasn't pointing to Ether Tablet.
Yeah, we know that's cash, because more than one of our runners have checked that.
And it looks like Daze Cloud is also checking what is on Lumberjack. He will just find a heart there. It is a full heart. That's something.
This is just... I'm just watching all our runners do this massive time loss in the basement of Tower of Hera as a pendant. And like, I get the play, and obviously many of our runners want to do it. It just feels so bad to waste that much time.
Yeah, Daze Cloud could open up a big lead here, especially if there's something important on the right side of Death Mountain. But even if there isn't, it could potentially lead to the other runners making an extra climb that Daze Cloud doesn't have to make.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. If there isn't something here, when the other runners go to Desert and find that hook shot, I have a feeling they're coming back up here instead of going to Aghanim immediately.
And woe if they go to Aghanim without going to Desert first and getting that hookshot, because then they're in the Dark World, and if this is an Agaseed, that hookshot's pointing to, you know, swinging across the river and going to Village of Outcasts. But they won't be able to get there without the hookshot.
Oh, the other advantage is actually that Dazed can do the Hera pot if he knows it with the hookshot and skip the entire basement.
That is also true. And it looks like he is, well, except that he'll know that there's an item in the big chest. He won't know that item's worthless, and then he'll have to decide whether he wants to do the basement so that he can get the item out of the big chest.
That is fair, too. So Radical is back up on the mountain with hookshot.
So yeah, here we go with him having to... I guess it's not that much extra work because he does have the save point anyway, and Daze Cloud's going to have to go down there. Oh, he can just jump.
So here's the decision for Dazed. What do? That looks like they're setting up. Nope, going down.
Joke's on you.
Why? Why kill the Moldorm just to go down the stairs? Just to confuse the comms.
Okay, just some health and lower paradox. Or is it upper paradox?
Oh, let's not start that again.
I consider the two chests to be lower paradox and this room to be upper paradox.
Lower, upper. I think so, but I think in some, like, room mappings it's the other way around, and it confuses me every time.
In the spoiler log, it's listed the other way.
Yes, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
And all we got for our trouble, as Sniper does not set up that bomb jump, all we got for our trouble was a Quake medallion.
So not there. Did we check Spiral Cave? I don't think so. Right?
No, he has to go around because he missed the bomb jump, but I'm sure he's going to go up and check it because I think it's that or Aghanim at this point.
Oh, we are getting the bomb. We're getting the bomb jump after getting the big key on Dazed side.
It's still a little bit faster to go up this way.
It is if you don't fail it and you don't have to buffer too many times.
And as you say that, he fails it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different setup than the one I know, but
second time's a charm.
Yeah, that was really fast the second time. No buffers almost, just walked right to the spot and done. Oh. Yeah. So we'll see what Spiral Cave has over here. That's important.
I mean, it's a required item, but it doesn't open anything for us right now, so this is an Agaseed.
Yep.
But it does mean that Skull Woods is full clearable as soon as we beat Aga.
And we have a lot more access in Turtle Rock.
Once we get the hammer and the mitts.
Eventually, yes. They're kind of down the road that we're not worrying about that either. It also, once we get the mitts, it also completely opens up Ice Palace. So, any guess on what's that first item we're gonna find? What's that item we're looking for in the Dark World?
If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess that the hammer is somewhere in the Skullwoods Village of Outcasts area, or maybe Graveyard Ledge, since that's on the way.
I was thinking we're gonna find hammer, but just because you said it, I'm gonna say mitts. Just to have something else. But to our viewers and our people in chat, if you want to take a guess, let us know what you think. What's that item that they're going to be looking for? What are they going to find when they go into the Dark World? Ooh, Dave's having a little bit of issues with the enemies in there. Trying to get more hearts, immediately gets hit, loses all the hearts he picked up. So we've got a guess of mitts and pendant pod. That's definitely possible. That's unfortunate, but possible.
So I did put in a prediction there in case you want to entertain yourselves during this upcoming Aga Tower climb that, we can only have two options, but at least you can guess which one we'll find first, the hammer or the mitts. Even if our immediate progression winds up being something else, though those two items are by far the likeliest means of progression.
And probably the most important means of progression at the moment.
I guess I could have done it location-wise, whether our progression would be in East Dark World or West Dark World.
Yeah, we can leave hammer and mitts and let it go. This is pretty even. Anybody with a whole bunch of extra channel points lying around, go in and make that guess.
This is SG4. No one has a bunch of extra channel points here.
Oh, that's true. Well, hey, maybe people watched the awkward time. I'm surprised we're so late with a 9 o'clock on 4, but yeah. Still. Oh.
There have been a lot of Super Metroid Rando League races taking up a lot of the other channels.
Vortex saying that his 16k points says otherwise.
Hey, I have 16.3k as well. I'm just not allowed to bet.
Yeah. I have 3.5k. But gonna watch the runners and focus on this. Yeah, so basically all we're really doing right. Oh, that fire! You know what? There's a good use for the fire rod.
that was a nice find. No way about that. Fire rod and Aga Tower is super useful.
Yeah, especially when on fighter sword. The enemies in here take a lot more hits than you think they should. And that's kind of funny because you're supposed to have Master Sword coming in here. That's why.
Yeah. Still not as good as Tempered, but a whole lot better than Fighter. Speaking of which, we haven't really discussed it, and most viewers are probably familiar with it at this point because we've been playing the Stand Hard mode so much in preparation for the main tournament. But this is hard item pool, which means that once these runners get to Tempered Sword, the fourth sword will turn into a green 20 rupees. And there are a few other items that have been dummied out with green 20 rupees instead, like our mail upgrades.
Yeah, the big thing is going to be that everyone's doing the silverless Ganon, and we'll see how that all goes for everybody.
Which makes the Tempered Sword so much more important.
Yes. Tempered Sword silverless is okay. Master Sword silverless, nobody likes doing. One of our viewers saying that someone's already found a green 20. If they found one already, it's probably the mail upgrade.
Yeah, because we haven't upgraded anything else. Well, it could have been the silver arrows.
Yeah, it could have been.
Now the
that
interesting...
would be neat. That like immediately available silver arrows, but hard pull.
The painful thing is if the second bow is in plain sight, it'll still show up as a bow, but if you pick it up, it'll turn into a green 20.
Yep. My first ever hard pull seed, I had the second bow on the floating island. And every time I walked past it, I had to look at it.
And hey, I guess I should have had bets on blue balls, but get your bets in chat on how many blue balls we'll have.
I normally say 4. What do you say? That's already one.
Well, there's one already. I'm still going to be optimistic and say 2.
We've got a guess of 11.
Well, we're going to count as though Radical Sniper had successfully sent that energy ball back because, that's not his fault.
Hey, it benefits the people that had a higher count if we just count the balls. I think you just don't like that because you said 2, and that's already 2 now.
Well, there's our second, yes.
Hey, maybe we'll still only get 2. Oh, that's 3.
Yeah, and that was 3 regardless of whether he had missed or not, but now this would be the 6th hit if he hadn't missed. So now you're happy because he got 4, which he wouldn't have gotten if he had made the hit.
4,
oh no.
5.
I still say 3 is the correct answer because the other 3 runners we would expect to get 3 blue balls.
We'll give 3 and 5 benefit here. So we got Professor Pixie, Chelsea, and that's it.
D-Man.
Did I miss one?
Yeah, D-Man 5439.
Oh, yeah, right up top. First 5, okay. Yep.
But those extra 2 blue balls are going to allow these other 3 runners to make up a bit of time.
A little bit. Radical immediately going up to Catfish.
He's like, this
I
seed
didn't
is
even see
not going to troll me.
I didn't even see what was on Pyramid Ledge, but obviously it wasn't what he wanted. Yeah, it's one of those things like, what do? You have Pennant Pot.
Daze Cloud is using the bug net.
Hey, as I said, hey, you could just use it anyways, right?
Very efficient usage.
And he's not missing with a big bug net. This is one of the reasons that it has the nickname Swagnet, because literally there's no actual benefit to doing this. It's just swag.
And Catfish gives us our second bottle in our possession, the third we've seen, since there's the one on Lake Hylia Island that they've all seen and none of them are going back for. Oh, Dazed misses! That's what you get for doing swag.
Yeah.
So he's now going to have to sit through 2 extra blue balls as well, as Jossum Sauce gets down there in just the 3 that are required.
Yeah, so, you know, you were commenting that we'd probably see all the other runners at 3, but it looks like it's 50-50. So hold on. If 2 of our runners have 3 and 2 of our runners have 5, I said 4, so I got the average.
You were just taking clown strats into account. I see how it is.
No, I was averaging everybody. Oh, Radical, what are you? Okay.
What?
I guess he's just
he's
gonna go over to
Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah. No. This makes sense. It took me a second, but he's just gonna go over to Village of Outcasts,
which is vanilla. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. That the hookshot and the fire rod are kind of screaming Skull Woods to me.
Yeah, and no hammer for pod, and it's a pendant, so it kind of just makes sense. Go over this way.
And everyone else wants to see that green goo on Catfish, apparently. Not that they know it's green goo.
I feel like at this point, this is one of the closest you're going to be to Catfish the rest of the race. So you may as well do it now, because if you don't do it now, you're going to have to go out of your way for it later.
Yeah, it's totally reasonable. It's just unfortunate. And down goes Aga for Incoherent.
Bumper Ledge coming up.
Yeah, we have the cape, so we can get whatever's here if we need it. Vanilla. Vanilla Bumper Ledge, Vanilla Graveyard Ledge, Vanilla Zora Ledge. All our ledges are coming up. Vanilla. What was Desert Ledge?
I don't know. Lumberjack was health.
Yeah, that's true. Lumberjack Ledge wasn't vanilla.
So Radical heading straight to the back of Skull Woods, another play that makes sense. If you know you can complete it, may as well do the parts you have to do anyways first.
And that early Cane of Samaria is certainly coming in handy. Oh, Vanilla Big Key.
That's another reason it's good to do the back first, because sometimes you find the big key so you can do it when you get back to the front. Dazed is following in Radical's footsteps.
Oh, Jossum Sauce actually wanted that piece of heart, and it gives him another heart container.
This feels like a game of follow the leader at the moment.
So, it's a little bit unusual what Radical Sniper's doing here, just because he already has the mirror. He knows there's still 2 items outstanding. I would have done Bridge Chest first, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I'm not sure it makes a huge difference either way.
Well, you get to be sure you're keeping your health refill after beating Moth for going back to the front, if you need to go to the front.
Oh, that's true. I don't think these runners are going to have too many deaths in the front of Skull Woods, though. I say that, but then we're going to have one. But I see a
Yeah.
lot more deaths in the back than the front.
Now, that said, the green goo could come in handy here because Fire Rod does a whole lot more damage than Fighter Sword.
Yeah, a good point was actually brought up in chat that if you did check that chest first, what if it's a sword?
Yeah, that's the other thing
Right.
that you could, or half magic even.
Half magic, yeah. Yeah, that sucks. You know, you do this whole fight, you used your potion, and then you get half magic, and it's kind of like, well, I could have really used that in the fight. We got Justin Sauce actually doing the front and finds a hammer. Well, we're going back to the front, but wow, okay. Jossum Sauce decides I don't want to do Mothulon Fighter Sword.
So hammer was the progression, and that pays off our prediction, which was just under even money for hammer. Paid off at 1.98 to 1. So that means we can full clear Thieves, and I fully expect to see that next.
Cash on Ped. Ped is dead. What this game puts cash on everything. We had so much early cash. We had cash on Ether Tablet, cash on Ped. I half expect some cash to drop when we defeat Ganon. Just because.
And I didn't even see, but I assume that, whoa, Jossum Sauce isn't actually going to the back of Skull Woods. He took that hammer and went straight for Thieves Town. That is surprising, since he's gonna need to finish Skull Woods anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. I think he just doesn't want to do it with Fighter Sword and is just hoping that maybe there's another sword in here. This is a dungeon that's required to be finished as well. It will take a little bit of time to go back, but getting a sword could really help. Or half magic, for that matter.
Radical Sniper clearly not liking his bomb jumps.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why.
And that is an early small key in Thieves Town, so we are gonna be checking that chest, so it is good that we got that hammer. Also, Jossum Sauce has to watch his health.
Yeah, this dungeon can be kind of mean.
Until you get to Ganon and have to deal with the necessarily silverless fight, the lack of mail upgrades is really the most painful thing about Hard Item Pool.
Yeah, definitely. I think Jossum Sauce also there did check the stun prize and found out it was bombs. I think he was hoping for some health.
Ah, and down goes Mothula for Incoherent.
There's a second runner with 2 crystals. Or a third runner with 2 crystals.
Now, fortunately, it's nice to have the hookshot in Thieves Town Attic because those lizards or crickets or whatever you want to call them take a big bite of 2 hearts a pop, but they go down immediately to the hookshot.
Yeah, those little guys have killed me more times than I would like to admit.
They look so harmless. They move kind of slowly and aren't trying to corner you or anything, and next thing you know, you go down.
Yeah, they like to change directions without warning you. Oh, speaking of bomb jumps, Days Cloud doing the bomb jump method. Another runner checking pad.
But one way or another, they're all going to get their hammers out of Skullwoods. Oh, and there's the big 20 as the other Skullwoods item. I hadn't caught what the other Skullwoods item was. I just figured it had to be worthless or we would have noticed something.
Yeah. Mail upgrader bow.
No, it was an actual red 20.
Oh,
so.
red 20.
Yeah. Oh, and there are the flippers. So it's a good thing we did not go in there without the hammer.
Yeah, they will be required because Swamp Palace is a crystal.
Bit unorthodox routing on Jossum Sauce's side, though. Usually you would pick up the maiden first.
Yeah, I normally do it. I've seen most runners do it that way. Is that any time save, or is that just a choice?
I don't know. Depends on the conveyor belts, right? On that one room with the conveyor belts, I guess.
Yeah, but you'd be dealing with them. Oh, I guess it depends which way you come back. Like, if you're going to use boots and you're going to dash up the conveyors, then it's probably faster to do maiden. But without boots, if you're doing the rock lift version to come back, it's probably exactly the same amount of time.
Ooh, Jossum Sauce had a nice first round on script, but misses a hit on the second round, and now he's off script.
He's got enough.
But, yeah. And Blind doesn't even fire lasers or go to the bottom or anything. And what was that in the explosion?
I'm not sure.
I couldn't figure out what that was. Chad, if you have any idea. Oh, Professor Pixie, our tracker, is suggesting Arrow of Destiny. Could be.
So just for any of our newer viewers, Blind, when we were talking about the script, Blind does the exact same thing the first time you enter the room every single game. So if you know where to stand, you can just walk around the dungeon and never get hit and get a very quick kill. If you're new to running, just focus on getting the first round and you'll take a lot less damage.
Ideally the first 2 rounds, because if you can get to the second intermission without having taken damage, then you have a really good chance of surviving the fight.
Yeah, that's basically my strat. I can get the first 2 rounds on script, and I don't actually know the third one. I just tank enough damage that I can...
I'm the same way.
I can take enough damage and just finish round 3. It's fine. So, Jossum Sauce now going up to Skullwoods. Did not really find anything that's going to help him do it faster.
No, and the Titan's mitts, which we will absolutely need, are still outstanding. But the flippers are nice. I mean, hey, we get a check in Swamp, right? Actually,
It's a key.
No, we get all of Swamp. Sorry, I forgot that we now have the hammer.
Yep. That's all of Swamp. So Swamp is now accessible.
You don't sound very excited by that opportunity.
That dungeon's just... Well, I mean, it's nice as a commentator, it's nice as a viewer, but as a runner, that dungeon's just such a problem. You're making a gamble if you're skipping left side, or you're making a gamble by wasting a lot of time and doing left side.
Yeah. I mean, right. You have to guess, like, how many items are over there? Are they going to be useful? So there's Radical Sniper's crystal, which is... in fact, his 3rd crystal. He's the first runner to that point, though Jossum Sauce is about to hit that point as well.
Yeah, just a few seconds behind.
The seed's been fairly linear. I mean, there's no reason they couldn't have gone into pod, but without the hammer and with the game having given you the hook shot, it was a fairly obvious choice to go to Skullwoods Village of Outcasts area.
Yeah, one completable dungeon, one other dungeon with a lot of checks. Village of Elkes has great overworld. Do all of that, or do a pendant dungeon. That's pretty clear decision, I think.
That said, there are 5 items in Pod, so there may yet be something useful in there.
Oh, there definitely could be. Could be our ice rod.
Yeah, we are going to need that. We don't know what medallion opens Turtle Rock either. We of course need the mitts, as we discussed. We need the boots. So boots, mitts, ice rod, and maybe a medallion.
Oh, sword.
Oh yeah, we needed that too. But hey, now we got it.
Yeah. The other thing you actually need, Ganon doesn't take damage to a fighter sword.
And you know, with the Master Sword, its spin attacks, Master Sword Silverless is just painful.
Yes. Death by 24 cuts for Ganon.
52 ultimately.
Yeah, I'm just thinking phase 4.
And speaking of medallions, there's Ether in K45. So 2/3 chance we can open Turtle Rock when we get there.
We still don't know if we're going to need to get into Mire either. Until we're in Go mode, we won't fully know. We just got the 3rd medallion on Radical side.
Oh, so the last 2 medallions were very close to each other.
Okay. So we can get into Turtle Rock, and we can do everything except Trinex.
Once we get the Titan Smiths.
Once we get the Titan Smiths. Correct. We really need those Titan Smiths.
Yeah, which means the worst case scenario for this seed would be boots on Pyramid Fairy.
Boots on Pia. Boots on Pyramid Fairy and mitts on Helmasaur, right?
Yeah.
Now, if either of those happens and one of the runners is watching this back, sorry.
We curse because we love.
We're trying to keep it interesting for the viewers while showing off these really good runners that we have on screen.
Yeah, worth noting that Amish Paradise was 1 game away from getting an invite to the Invitational League for next season, so they are no slouches. And Dave's Cloud went really far in the Cross Keys tournament last season. I don't know Incoherent as well, but the other 3 of them I know are solid.
Yes, it's a good time to say if you are enjoying watching them, do give the runners a follow. It does really help them out. Their Twitches are in chat. But meanwhile, we are getting checks in Swamp. And I don't think we've seen anything of importance yet.
And Dave's Cloud took a little bit of a detour to check Bombos before going into Swamp.
Still nothing. Where are those mitts?
Well, Jossum Sauce is going for the left side, and with that Cane of Samaria, he will have a relatively easy time doing Diver down here, except that the Fighter Sword isn't long enough to reach over that barrier. Nope, threw it too far.
Oh.
There you go. Boomerang's the way to go.
And of course that happens when you're on stream, right? Because that never happens when you're not.
Right. Worth remembering, the game expects you to have Master Sword and be able to reach no problem.
Yeah.
The block's too high. Oh, and Sniper finding the map there, he knows that he's going to have to go back for the left side. That between that and the big chest, there are going to be at least 2 items. And Jossum Sauce will show us what's on left side.
I think with the number of items that are still remaining and the fact that you really have nowhere else to go, there's some good odds that there's something on left side here.
I mean, you have Pod.
Yes, but you don't want to do Pod, and you also don't want to go all the way to Pod and then find out it was on left side swamp.
Radical Sniper just swam through that pre-Argus room faster than I thought was humanly possible.
I was watching Jossum Sauce, so
he just zipped through. Like, who zips through that room like that?
Not me. So we did not find anything on left side. We got more cash. Because what else is this seed gonna give us?
We can buy a lot of potions.
Yeah, 2 of our runners are over 1,000 rupees in the bank.
Because apart from paying off Kiki, I don't know what else we need that money for at this point.
Yeah, how much?
Oh, and...
Oh! Boots!
Whoa, that's big. So I guess Desert next, and we can do Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb while we're at it. Though King's Tomb has to be done by Mirror since we still don't have the Titan's Mitts. And welcome to our 53 Raiders from Speed Gaming 3. We are in a fairly linear stand hard seed here.
Yep, the big thing is, we're looking for the mitts. The mitts have to be somewhere.
That also kills Pyramid Fairy.
Yep. Not trying to come up with a way to make it required, but...
Yeah, we only need Mitts and Ice Rod, and...
That's it.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy's locked behind Trinex. So that's 2 fewer locations for the Ice Rod to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's of any great comfort to our runners.
I mean, I think what the runners would like at this point is for Ice Rod to show up before the Mitts, because if Mitts are your go mode, then you don't have to check all the Mitts locked locations. You can just go mode them.
Yeah. And Ice Rod can be absolutely anywhere except Trinex, or anything locked by Trinex. And it's not like we see a lot of Ice Rod hunts with this game, right?
I think we need to bring back True Ice Rod Hunt as a daily mode.
Oh boy.
For those of you who have never heard of True Ice Rod Hunt, this has been done as a daily before. You start with, like, every piece of equipment possible, 20 hearts, you know, you're on butter sword silvers, everything like that. Only no Ice Rod, and the Triforce is on Trinex. Oh, and it's zero Crystal GT, so you can go right into GT if you want as well.
I feel like that's a fun thing to run, but less so to watch.
It's kind of painful to run. I did one a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, but it's kind of like an interesting, you're just looking for things and you're doing your checks, but like as a viewer, as a commentator, you're looking not in that chest, not in that chest. There's nothing else going on, right? You're not talking about logic, you're not thinking about where they could go, it's just either it's in the chest or it's not.
And it's a whole lot of nothing, which makes for an interesting credits.
Yeah.
Like, your uncle does nothing, or Zora shows up, nothing for sale.
Yeah, so we are seeing Radical go in the desert, as you mentioned. Picked up the boots, it's clearable, it's a crystal, let's go do it. If there's nothing in here, I think we're seeing Pod.
But there are two well, no, the hookshot was one item, so there's one more item in desert. And probably, well, we don't know whether it's the small key or the big key on the torch, so that'll affect. If it's the big key, we probably go right for the boss and only do right side if the second item isn't in the big chest or on the right side. It's the small.
Small key, we're doing right side. Meanwhile, Days Cloud picks up a crystal.
And boots.
And the boots. The boots is nicer for the runner, but the crystal is the thing that I'm tracking right now to see where we are. Three of our runners have 4 crystals. And Incoherent will be getting his 4th soon, after the left side checks, finding out there's nothing there.
So I'm trying to figure out, given that Days Cloud did get the hookshot early, how did he wind up somewhat farther behind?
Didn't Radical... Oh no, Days Cloud did the hookshot check?
Yeah, I mean, he took the extra 2 blue balls on Aga, but so did Radical Sniper.
Good question. I'm trying to think of when this changed. The lead changed quite a while ago. Apparently Days has done Zora area.
Oh, Radical Sniper never did. Radical Sniper never did Zora, but so many of the runners went out there, I totally forgot.
Yeah, that would do it. That takes quite a bit of time to do.
And now that it's in logic, you know, I could see Radical Sniper doing that before pod, because who wants to go independent pod?
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna be getting all our runners over here.
That bonk on Radical Sniper's part, trying to dash through the door, reminds me of something I learned from Kern, that every 4th pixel is a position that allows you to charge through a locked door without bonking. And so if you can line yourself upright, then you know that you're on that 1 pixel in 4, but if you misdo it, you're probably not, and you'll bonk.
So on a completely random basis, it'll work 25% of the time?
Right. If you don't know what you're doing, it'll work 25% of the time.
I did not know that.
But if you line yourself up like directly under a chest or directly over a pod or what have you, then that's the correct pixel.
I'm sorry, that was clean on Radical side.
Yeah, and he had just enough shots with the fire rod.
I was waiting for you to finish your sentence to comment that he was starting Landmone before you finished.
But Landmo item was, what do you know, more money. We haven't had enough of that this seed.
We also have 40 more viewers coming in from Speed Gaming 5. Welcome. This is a standard hardpool race, and for the same thing that we just told the viewers from Speed Gaming 10 minutes ago, we're still looking for mids.
What I loved about that money pickup was that it was 300 rupees. It actually froze the collection when he grabbed the crystal, and then after he lifted it in the air, the collection resumed.
Well, gotta give you that 1,200 rupees. We could buy a lot of blue potions. Not that these runners probably need that many blue potions.
Yeah, so Dazed Cloud showing how basically you line up with the bottom of the screen, you put your sword out to make sure you don't accidentally add any pixels, and then you charge upwards. And there again it worked because he lined up with just under that torch, so that gave him the right pixel.
That's definitely one of those really small things to look at to pick up some efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do it reliably, you can charge through doors and know you're not going to bonk, and that adds up.
So we are seeing the last phase of the Swamp Palace boss fight on Incoherent's side. Going to pick up the boots. That was also fast on Dave's side.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And again, notice the rupee counting pauses as he grabs the crystal, and now it'll resume when the fanfare finishes.
Yep, another fast kill on Jossum Sauce's side.
And Incoherent's not super far behind. He's basically just a desert clear, and desert's a quick dungeon.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, he was just on left side when everyone else was starting to either in desert or heading over. So Swamp is, but as that's when you were saying, I didn't sound excited about Swamp. Swamp is just that dungeon that kind of takes forever.
Oh my! That Bonk Rocks check was kind of key for Dazed Cloud.
Ooh, and Daze takes the lead.
I would say so. I mean,
Quote unquote.
Well, there's just the Ice Rod problem, but he does now. He's able to just go right over to King's Tomb and check it.
It's hard to call leads in these games where items are randomized and you have 30, 40 checks left that could be the item. The lead can switch so quickly.
Yeah, what you don't want to see at this point is the flute.
Oh yeah, you want to go do Meyer?
And Radical Sniper is going to do Pod, which could pay off if the Ice Rod is in here, but the Ice Rod could also be an Ice Palace where Dazed Cloud's headed for, and that has the benefit of being a crystal.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, if you have the choice, it's always nice to clear a crystal dungeon. Well, our tracker in chat there, Professor Pixie, with we want to see the flute, the runners don't.
I don't especially enjoy that 17 seconds of Meyer cutscene, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's also that, yeah, no. That's that dungeon that's super confusing when you start playing, and then it becomes really straightforward once you actually figure out where things are.
Yeah, it's still annoying to get through that second room with all the whiz robes and popos.
Yeah, there are some quick kill strats that have been coming out and people have been discussing recently, so those help.
Like Ether, for instance.
Yes, I mean, I was talking about specific places to stand. There's certain things with boots, like Fire Rod or Bow, where if you know where to stop, you can actually one cycle all the whiz ropes. But yeah, Ether, Bombos, you know, the Randomizer delete button, it works.
So, oh, and Jossum Sauce picked up his mitts too and is not very far behind Dazed Cloud at all, as Dazed Cloud gets that lovely icebreaker trick first try.
Yeah, it's a nice little glitch that lets you walk through a rail. Big rail, basically a wall, but... Let's see. Piece of heart.
That is also our maximum health for a hard item pool seed. So
we actually got the right number of heart pieces and full hearts, because there's a maximum on each individual one, and we actually got all 14.
Right, there are, what is it, 7 heart containers and 16 pieces of heart that you're allowed to get?
Correct.
And now we're going to be seeing a lot more green 20s because all of those remaining pieces of heart and heart containers are now green 20s.
Yeah, basically out of everything that's left that can turn into a green 20, the only thing that won't is our third sword.
And the fire shield if we happen upon it.
Oh yes, that very critical piece of...
I'm sure the runners are just dying to see the fire shield. But
That's going to help him a lot.
For other checks to open up, we did find the powder, and that opens Magic Bat, so that's another place for Ice Rod, which can be combined with Smith Chain, which we now have access to thanks to the Titansmiths.
Days tried to use iframes to get past the fire bar and just a little too slow. Speaking of our third sword.
That was a nice find. That made Ice Tea Room worthwhile. And Jossum Sauce is just about to find it as well. As Incoherent gets his Titansmiths.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, whoa. Radical just picked up Ice Rod.
Oh, boy. Now it's just a question of when he gets his Titansmiths and when these other runners all dip pod.
On a positive note for the other runners, there really isn't too much more for them to go looking for.
Now, the way this could hurt Radical Sniper is he's going to go mode ice because, you know, Titans are his go mode. He can't go into ice without Titans. He might be stuck on Master Sword depending on where the fourth sword is.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. We may find out where the fourth sword is because of it, though.
Also true. As Dazed Cloud took down Cold Stare pretty quickly.
So here's the question. Do you do pod before you go into Turtle Rock?
That's tough. That is tough because we all know that Ice Rod likes to hang out on Laser Bridge. Oh, Dazed Cloud goes to Flute and then realizes he can't.
There is the option to go...
Ooh.
Oh! Jossum Sauce.
Does he have it? Yes, he did get a fairy because the free bottle fill was a fairy, so...
Oh, that's good then. But there is the option if they do Turtle Rock first, they may be able to save the portal. Can't they?
That would be really difficult when you've beaten Aga.
Oh, yeah, they've beaten Aga. Never mind.
I mean, there's some crazy way to do it, but... No, you'd need to have Ganon Hole open and Houlihan into Ganon Hole, and then you can save your portal. But if Ganon Hole's open, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So no. So they got to make that call. Do you do pod first, or do you go to Turtle Rock? That's a rough choice. And Dazed is up on the mountain.
I mean, it makes sense. The number of times Ice Rod turns up on Laser Bridge, it's totally reasonable for Dazed Cloud to do this.
Here's the problem, though. Dazed Cloud now has Flute.
Oh, I missed that.
Super Bunny Cave. Helmosaur going down on Radical side. But that just creates additional checks. Now you got, even if you don't want to do Mire, you still got Mire Shed, Checkerboard Cave. You got a lot of checks over there that you can do.
Jossum Sauce never did King's Tomb? That seems like the first thing you do after getting the mitts, given where they were. And it looks like Radical Sniper is about to get his go mode because I don't know why he'd be doing a Sank Start otherwise.
Yep.
So 118.12 Radical Sniper 99 is in go mode. And we'll see if he finds a Tempered Sword along the way.
Yeah, not a go mode he likes. It'll be interesting to see how much out of his way he's willing to go as he clears the rest of these dungeons.
Hey, remember that full heart container that was on Lumberjack? Look what it was by the time Jossum Sauce went for it.
Yep. He probably hadn't checked it yet, so he was just figuring, at this point, just find out what's there. So Radical Sniper has taken back the lead. As I was talking about how it's really hard to call a lead in Rando.
But with Jossum Sauce on east side to go to the bottle shop, I wonder if he's going to go to the portal to the south of here and maybe dip pod.
Yeah, maybe.
Goodness knows he's got enough money for as many blue potions as he wants, which is apparently 3.
Why not? Save and quit. Another runner checking the mountain checks. Yep.
Yeah, and Incoherent's probably going to go up the mountain too when he finishes with Cold Stare.
This could give Radical a decent lead. He will also be doing the Icebreaker without hitting the switch.
So Sniper is checking stuff along the way, but it was the big chest that had... No, it was Iced Tea that had Tempered Sword. The big chest had Powder. I don't think he's getting either of those things.
I mean, I think I would still check the big chest, given how easy it is to check. But Iced Tea is a little out of the way.
Yep. Oh yeah, he does have the hook shot out. Looks like he's gonna check the big chest here.
Yeah, it's a few seconds, and if it is the Tempered Sword, you are going to save a lot of time.
But yeah, it doesn't look like he's going for Iced Tea here.
That is the one kind of really out of the way check.
He is getting a magic refill, which I sure don't blame him for. He's still gonna have to use Bombos, I think. Maybe there's enough magic in the final room?
Even with that, I would still say use Bombos so you have the Fire Rod for the fight. Master Sword Cold Stare is not as pleasant as Master Sword Cold Stare with some Fire Rod.
Yeah, right. He's the only one of these runners who's doing Master Sword Cold Stare.
Yeah, this Tempered Sword Cold Stare is not that bad, but Master Sword Cold Stare is twice as many hits. And you can see the importance of that Fire Rod with that very quick Cold Stare kill.
So all Radical Sniper's got to do is climb Death Mountain, do a couple dungeons up there, and do a Master Sword Silverus Ganon fight. Hey, there's our blue cane.
If we can find Shovel somewhere, we'll have pretty much full inventory, I think. Yeah, we just need to find Shovel. There's a question in chat. Tempered was an Iced Tea room so far. So if Radical wants Tempered, he's going to have to find the 4th sword in the pool. There is one more. So in the hard pool, it doesn't remove the sword. It leaves the items in there. For any of our newer viewers.
Hey, and Dave's Cloud found our 4th bottle. And he's going to get the bad news here that Ice Rod is not in its... We can't call it the vanilla location on comms. That would confuse people. Pseudo-vanilla location? Troll vanilla location?
The place you never want to see it, but somehow it always is.
Right. Contrary to popular belief, Ice Rod's vanilla location is an Ice Rod cave.
Which is, to be fair, an out-of-the-way location that you don't really want to check.
Also true.
So it's just picking another location similar to its original one.
Oh, Dazed Cloud is gonna do Spike Cave while he's up here.
I mean, that's a good choice.
Yeah,
Good
I
to
mean,
get
you're
it out
up
of the
here
way.
anyway. And you
Yeah.
picked up the blue cane.
Ooh, draw some sauce. Takes the death. The laser above the door to the big key chest. That's going to be a bit of a time loss. Oh, Dazed Cloud taking a hit on like the second before.
He's got a
but there's
fairy.
There's a
Ooh,
fairy.
and Jossum Sauce getting bonked by that Stalfos.
We're having issues all over the place right now.
And unfortunately, he did erase that fairy by moving off of the super tile. Okay, so Flute activated for Dazed Cloud. At least he'll get up the mountain quickly again. At least he can get to Pod quickly, honestly. He can Flute to 5 now, and that makes things a bit easier if he chooses to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's enough to catch up to Radical at this point without Radical doing something erroneous.
No. And he's doing Meyer area.
It makes sense, even if you don't go into Meyer. Meyer sheds a quick check, 2 checks right out front.
Right, and checkerboard.
Yeah, takes a few more seconds to do that. It's actually interesting that we have 3 runners in Turtle Rock at the same time, but 2 of them have a drastically different situation than the third. Here's Half Magic.
Something for his trouble. I'm always surprised that Half Magic was kept in hard item pool.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, it definitely makes things a bit less painful. Because a lot of the rationale in hard item pool is roughly what you'd have playing a regular NMG seed, that normal NMG strats involve tempered silverless and 14 hearts. And green mail.
Drossum does having a little bit of issue with that Mimic. Oh, Dazed is going into Meyer.
Oof, this is not gonna end well.
Hey, maybe we'll find Shovel.
And Radical Sniper, being out of keys, went over to Big Chest, which turned out to be a good move. You don't want to gamble. It's basically a 50-50 at that point.
Wow, top 2 runners, very, okay, they fell out of sync there for a second, but they're pretty close to synced.
Unfortunately,
actually,
one of them has the Ice Rod and the other doesn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, Incoherence actually in the same room. We have 3 runners in the same room. But as you said, one of them has Ice Rod and the others don't. I mean, Meyer is a green pendant, so there is actually one additional item in here. I still think it's an interesting choice considering that Pod does have more items overall.
Now, in lieu of the Gannet's Tower Big Key game, since we can't run the bot because there are runners off screen as well, we'll do it as a prediction. So how many checks do you think Radical Sniper will need to find the GT Big Key? And we'll just make it a 50-50. It's either 11 or less or 12 or more. And we're doing it before he fights Trinex so people have a chance to actually get their predictions in.
Yeah, definitely get your prediction. Use your channel points that you have. See if you can get some more. But also let us know in chat. Give us your numbers so we can... we'll take a look at that. Oh, Jossum saw stinging to death. Do you have any particular number you normally go with?
I normally go with 10. Given this seed, though, I'm feeling more like 14. What about you?
I normally say 8, but so I'm just going to stick with my 8.
You and Quiznex.
Ah, oh yeah, that was the first guess in chat. Huh. That's my standard guess. So I'm not copying someone else. I think Quiznex got one of the earlier guesses. So let's. I'm not trying to cheat. Not looking at the guy beside me's paper.
Cheating at the GT Big Key game. I mean, that's just like, you know.
That would be more like if I was trying to watch one of the off-stream runners, but it's very hard to commentate 4 runners and somehow watch another runner off-stream. We are getting a flute activation on Jossum Sauce's side, and Trinex goes down.
And Dazed Cloud went through the cutscene as Incoherent does hammer pegs.
Yeah, Jossum Sauce gonna go check Magic Bat. And Radical very quickly running out of there. And going to be heading into GT.
Still on Master Sword. Like, if any of those runners had gone right to Pod... Ooh, there's our Fire Shield. We're certainly happy to see that off of the Smiths. But if any of those runners had gone right to Pod after busting in Turtle Rock, having the better sword might have helped them catch up, but now there's just no way Radical Sniper is running away with this.
Yeah, for sure. That slight sword, like it's not even such a slight. It's a decent sword difference. Isn't going to make up the time, especially not when we have God Hope Room.
Yeah, I was about to say, was that God Hope Room? Yes, it was.
That was a small key and a big key. That is exactly what you want in that room. So the answer was 2. I forgot about the big key guessing game because that was so fast. No one guessed 2.
Yeah, Ryua and... Well, Furious Zap corrected their 1 to 11, so we can't count that, so Ryua distinctly was the closest.
Yeah, with 3. That's... Congratulations. Radical having a bit of issue with this Red Mimic. This room sucks without silvers.
Depends how many hours you have.
Yeah, but the BMOs like to just hit you. Like, every time I line up like, if I don't get it perfectly right off the bat, every time I try to line up a shot, a BMOs decides to knock me halfway across the room. Because their knockback goes that far for some unknown reason. Taking a safety door here on Radical's side. He doesn't know it, but he has plenty of time from our restreamed runners to do so. Now there could be off-stream runners who are keeping up with him.
Though no one's finished yet.
Yeah, no. Once Radical finishes, we'll be, I think, keeping an eye on that to let you all know, all our viewers, where things are going. But
oh my, they're all going into Mire. I guess they just all really want to follow that flute.
Green pendant, flute, yeah, but like you've had a hammer so much longer, and it's got 5 items. Even with the green pendant, Mire has less checks.
Yeah, Smith Chain makes sense because, you found the powder, so that's 3 items here, and then you turn in the purple chest. Happens to be worthless, but they don't know that.
Yeah, and if you can even save and quit with the purple chest. And it'll be fast. To answer a question in chat, Ice Rod is in the dark maze of Pod.
Yeah, really not the location you want to see it in.
Pendant Pod Dark Maze? No. Not at all.
But now that they've done, these other 3 runners have done all that effort to get that green pendant, they'll probably combine Zahasrala with a pod check, because where the heck else are they going to go?
Yeah, that's about it. We're getting an Oops All Dungeons run here.
Yeah, in the interview, we're really going to have to ask Radical Sniper about his decision to go to pod without checking Bonk Rocks first.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah, it's just like... and I'm sure he had a good reason for it. I'd just like to know what that good reason is. And both of those checks in Helmasaur room were just rupees.
Well, the only thing that it could really be at this point is the shovel.
That what could be?
Anything in a chest.
Oh, no, we could get the 4th sword, which would be the 3rd sword for Radical Sniper.
Right. He's still looking for the 4th sword. The thing is, there are another 20 checks downstairs in GT.
21, including the big chest.
21. Yeah, that one's not included in the big key guessing game. I will let our viewers puzzle out why.
Vanilla Big 20 in the post-Moldorm chest.
Okay, so we will be getting a Master Sword Silverless fight today.
And again, if any of these other 3 runners hadn't done Misery Mire, they might be in the game still by virtue of their Tempered Sword, but nowhere they're making up this much time.
Well, there is, but we're not going to talk about Radical taking a, late Phase 4 fall, right?
Repeatedly.
I mean, Days Clouds, he still has to do all of Turtle Rock. Yeah, 2 late Phase 4 falls?
Zethno, you cursed us by talking about how nice and fast that Stand Hard race you calmed Monday night was, because we are anything but here.
Yeah, well, it was looking fast. You have to admit, we had a whole bunch of really nice items.
Other than the Agaseed.
When I said it, we were getting a lot of really nice items. But here's Ganon for Radical Sniper.
So yeah, 52 spins, 12 on each of the first 2 phases, 4 on the 3rd phase, and then 24 on the 4th.
That is a lot of spins, and you can see that the bounce back that you get from Ganon. Like, you don't get 2 hits very easily, very quickly. It's good the runners have a lot of money, because blue pots can be very helpful in this circumstance.
I wonder if Radical Sniper's decision was, well, I don't have the flute. Pod would be difficult to get back to if Bonk Rocks are a bust. So while I'm still in the Dark World from Swamp, I'll go over to Pod that way. That's my best guess at what he might have been thinking.
So Radical is using a little bit of a strat here. If you have your cape on and you hold a wall, it doesn't drain any magic. I think he had counted out all of his attack, so he knew that he was done the phase and was just waiting for Ganon to finish that particular attack.
Hey, and what do you know? There's our green 20 from Zahastra.
I wonder if that was the sword.
Could be.
Unpleasant location for a sword.
And
Radical did get Torch Glitch.
Yeah, but without half magic and with Master Sword Silverless, you absolutely have to get the Torch Glitch. Like, I mean, theoretically you could do it without, but it would be really tough.
He's used 1 pot. I assume he has at least 1 more.
Just don't take any Ganon hugs. Yeah, he's being very conservative by using... Ooh. Fire back to the face.
I believe that does 2 hearts of damage, so he can survive another one.
Well, meanwhile, Daze Cloud finally got that friggin' Ice Rod.
And Incoherence on his way to it as well. Jossum Sauce is unfortunately still on the wrong track. A valid track, not to take anything away or say anything about the routing, it's just not right in this case.
And still no one finished. Radical Sniper may win this race overall.
As you say that, we'll find out that he takes a fall or somebody else gets it. That one's on you if it happens.
Sorry, I had to peek.
And it's down.
As long as he can cross that incredibly dangerous bridge.
Get your GGs in chat under the assumption that Radical won't fall off. That happens so rarely and it sucks when it does. But Radical does finish with an official race time GG time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 30 seconds in first place on Restream and first place overall.
Yeah, and given some of these runners in this race, first place overall is quite an accomplishment.
And we are joined by Radical Sniper in the booth. GG.
GG.
Yeah.
You made a somewhat non-intuitive play that paid off big time. So I got it. That you went to Pod before you did Bonk Rocks after getting the boots on Argus.
So at that point, I just thought Pod had more stuff. And I was kind of worried because I was like, I didn't check Lumberjack Ledge or, you know, and I knew I was leaving behind Bonk Rocks, but between Bonk Rocks and Pod at the time, it just felt like Pod had more stuff. And I kind of realized as soon as I found the Ice Rod there, I was like, somebody's going to miss it.
Try everyone
everybody.
except you is going to miss it.
All three of our other runners actually found Flute and checked Meyer before going to Pod.
Oh, yeah, no, Pod is just, I can't, I don't think you can avoid it at that point because there's just too much, especially in comparison to Meyer. That's surprising to me.
As Incoherent picks up his Ice Rod for Go Mode at 1:44.21.
And is not the last runner into Go Mode.
Because your teammate, Jossum Sauce, is just paying Kiki right now.
Oh no.
That's
so I guess the other question that I have is, does somebody have a sword better than that?
Yes. Ice tea room. You walked right past it.
I was not going out of my way anywhere.
Yeah, we figured.
But since they didn't have the Ice Rod, they weren't Go Moding Ice, so yeah, they all found it. But yeah, so roughly what happened...
You go.
They all did Bonk Rock straight out of getting the boots from Argus, found the mitts, followed the mitts to Ice Palace, full cleared it, and then they all decided to give Turtle Rock a shot, since the Ice Rod often hangs out on Laser Bridge. Unfortunately, Flute was in Super Bunny Cave, and they followed that.
See, the thing that surprises me here, then, is... What you're saying, then, is after Aga, everybody went to Skull.
Yes.
Yep.
That is... I'm kind of surprised that nobody...
I mean, that hook shot had to... The hook shot, I guess, the feeling was it had to be leading somewhere, especially since the only thing it had gotten you so far was the Fire Rod, which just even further reinforced Skull.
Yeah. I just feel like, somebody usually is going to gamble that Pod play right as you get into Dark World, especially with Bow and Mirror. Like, that doesn't feel like a bad play. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were thinking everyone was so lucky, getting that hammer nice and early and not wasting time in Pod and...
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that is a fun little sequence in that seed. You have to go into Bootless Desert to get boots out of Argus to get mitts. So that's a fun little back and forth.
Yeah. No, that was a heck of a place for the boots to show up, that's for sure.
It made me feel less bad when I found Hookshot, or when I found boots.
Yeah.
Because I was pissed when I got the Hookshot out of there after going up the mountain and clearing Hera.
Oh, and by the way, just to give a shout out to our second and third place runners who have now finished off stream. Sean Rhapsody is second at 1:47.15, and Homemade Beer is right behind him at 1:47.26. So GG's to both of them.
Yeah, GG's to them. The one thing I was going to say is that Daze is the one person that did Desert before going up the mountain on our restream. So he did have that advantage of getting the hook shot, clearing everything all at once. Did take a little bit of a lead there, and then you took it back a little after that, and then he found mitts, and then just never found Ice Rod until way too late.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing how linear the seed was otherwise. Where you're thinking, I guess you weren't thinking in terms of linear because you were thinking someone would have gone to Pod out of Aga.
Yeah, I mean, it was... Yeah, no, it was very linear. Like, you just kind of follow the trail the whole seed, and it just felt right the whole time. And I think kind of what helped push me on that You know what? I'll tell you what I think kind of might have pushed me more to pod. Now that I think about it, is after I did desert, I hadn't done hype.
Oh, there was a fairy. Okay. Sorry, I was just gonna say we just got a death on screen, but there was a fairy. We're okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I hadn't done hype cave before swamp and desert. So in my mind, I guess it was, oh, I should go back.
Yeah, I guess. I guess at least some of the other runners did Hype Cave after doing Cave 45 and Stumpy. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, and that's a much more traditional route I should have done. Like, I would probably do that, and that time I just didn't. So, paid off this time.
Definitely. I mean, did you notice how much money there was in all these caves that were like money and nothing else?
Yeah, no, that was a very rich seed.
That's for sure. Dazed Cloud is now sitting on over 1,600 rupees.
And about to be having a much nicer time of Ganon.
I was actually surprised you didn't do the Zora play early on, just given the money. That you're the only one of the runners who didn't do Zora until after Aga.
No, I did Zora before.
Oh, was it just Waterfall you did later?
Yeah, I didn't do fake flippers.
Okay. So you were trying to stay in logic.
Yeah, and I was concerned because when mitts were still out there and I was doing the flipper checks, I was like, did somebody break logic and beat Aga or get out of an Aga seed?
Ooh, speaking of Aga, that was a very nice triple from Dazed Cloud on Aga 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad that second pattern's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, looks like he's going to wind up with 3-1-1-1. But yeah, he'll be our second restreamed runner into Ganon here.
Oh, and half magic?
Wait, so you got all four? You grabbed the one off of Lake Hylia Island even, I guess, when you were doing your flippers checks, once you had flippers.
Yeah, that was the thing. So I did Hype Cave to Lake Hylia Island to Zora Waterfall up to Hobo, and then I was like, I'm right here for pod, so we're gonna do pod right now.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out really well for you. Just a comment that Dazed Cloud, not only has the Tempered Sword, but has half magic, so this is going to be a significantly easier fight than what you saw Radical Sniper do.
Oh, and this is fascinating what Sean Rhapsody, the second place finisher, is saying in chat, that, you know, he didn't go to pod when you did, Jesse, but he apparently skipped Mini Moldorm in the flippers checks, and that got him to pod, you know, faster than anyone else.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's... What's pod? 5 items? 6 items?
5.
It's 5.
Yeah. So...
Oh, and we have 3 forfeits already, just people who got tired of looking for that ice rod, I guess.
Well, that was
one of them was 32 minutes in, so I'm not sure if they just had to go
or didn't like the Aga seed.
That was my other thought. Yeah. It was about that time that our first runner was getting to Aga, so.
Yeah, so okay.
At that exact moment, I confirmed to myself that everything said it was Aga. I think I had done everything else.
Yeah, I mean, you all did everything else. I mean, the seed had opened up all 3 Light World dungeons, which is pretty rare. Ooh, and Dazed Cloud turns Ganon blue for the second time.
I mean, I'm fine with having a low percent end to this seed, because I haven't had too many times where I haven't had half magic for Trinex or Tempered Sword, or so, you know, I'm appreciative of a chance to kind of work through that today, even though it's a terrible fight.
I mean, good practice for the main, right? That's the idea of doing this mode.
Days Cloud there accidentally turned the wrong way and threw a fire rod blast directly into Ganon's face instead of into the torch.
But he finally gets his 12th spin, so get your GGs in for him.
Yes, definitely get your GGs. And Days Cloud does finish in 4th overall with 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 1 second. And to note, 5th place has also been claimed 9 seconds later by Furious Magic. There's a 9-second difference between 4th and 5th. You know, right at the starting, we were talking how that 10-15 second difference in escape doesn't normally matter. Well,
you never know.
It did for one runner today.
Well, and 2nd and 3rd were only 11 seconds apart.
Oh, wow. Some tight finishes here today.
But yeah, I'm wondering how many of the remaining runners will get in under the 2-hour mark. Incoherent should, if he has a reasonably clean Aga 2 and Ganon fight.
Yeah, Ice Rod Hunt and Agaseed. Why not? It sounds like almost everybody did all dungeons. Or almost all dungeons.
Right. I mean, Hera was right. Hera was such a red herring.
So I guess everybody did Hera before Aga?
Yeah.
And that just feels bad. Although I'm guessing some people were able to Hera pot then?
Only Dazed.
Okay.
And he still did the basement because there was that item in the big chest.
Right.
But he actually just went, grabbed that key immediately, went downstairs, got it, and then just Hera potted to skip going up the long way.
Well, at that point, you know there's a 2/3 chance of an item in the big chest. Speaking of which, we have Days Cloud in here. GG's. If you're talking, we can't hear you. I see your name lighting up. Are you muted locally or something?
While we figure out that quick technical issue, we do have a 6th and 7th place finisher. Fred, aka Durf, in 6th with 1:55.51. And R. Shap, is that? I hope I pronounced that correctly. 1 hour 56:33. Oh, the other thing, Radical, you skipped a lot of bomb jumps today, we were noticing. Any particular reason?
I don't like Hera bomb jump at all. And when I come from the back and skull, for some reason, I have just convinced myself to go in the back door.
Okay, that's fair.
They worked?
They were like back to back almost from when we were watching you, so we were just curious.
Yeah, no, I don't like Hera. I really don't. I've just fallen too many times there. And it being a two-story drop just bugs me. So until I feel truly comfortable with it, I just keep skipping it.
Okay, so unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, Dazed Cloud will not be able to do a voice interview, but he is hanging out in chat if you have any questions for him. And meanwhile, Incoherent is well on his way through Phase 4 here, so hopefully he'll have Ganon down shortly.
It's another Tempered Sword half magic completion.
Yeah, Jesse, did we tell you that half magic was in Mireshed?
I did hear that.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, all the nice little safeties. I was happy to get powder. I'll take powder at least, like that's fine. But yeah, all the other ones I didn't see, and I was like, okay. But I felt good having 2 greens, a red, and a fairy going into Ganon. So
yeah, the seed was sure generous with bottles. Oh, and it looks like Fred aka Durf, who's in chat, also never found that third sword like you, Jesse, which was in Ice Tea Room. And GG's to Incoherent joining us now, third on the restream, eighth overall, 158-14. What did you think of that?
I was not really a fan. It felt like it rewarded you for skipping a progression item before the mitts, because then you would have gotten to pod and found the ice rod.
Yeah. So Radical skipped that mitts location.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yep. I had done after I did desert, I just went straight over to I went back for Hype Cave and then I did all the checks there, so I ended up in pod.
I love all these off-screen finishers now suddenly being in chat like, where's Tempered?
Oh, I guess they all... Yeah, wow.
That's interesting, because if you get mitts before Ice Rod, like, I don't see how you necessarily... I don't know, if it's a 50-50, maybe you do still skip the Ice Tea Room.
I mean, I felt like my route sort of wrote itself from last location Aga onward. Also, shout out to pulling an Alizon and Restream.
Oh, so Jesse, there you go with, like, someone did pod straight out of Aga. Apparently that's what Homemade Beer did, so he had Ice Rod, so...
Okay.
So that's... Yeah, so that's the one. I think if you got the Ice Rod early, you ended up with Master Sword. I think that's what kind of happened.
Yeah, because if you go mode Ice, then you'll never get that, because that's the worst place in Ice Palace.
Yeah,
you're never going
every
out
other thing. I was like, we're gonna do Icebreaker Chest. Oh, I got the big key. I'm gonna do Freeze Orb Room. I'm gonna do Big Chest. I want it.
But yeah, it's always great to tilt yourself by mirroring out of the top of Aga Tower.
Oh no.
Wait, who mirrored out of the top of Aga Tower?
I did. I was in the second Red Guard room, and I was trying to switch to bow because I was out of magic, and I went one too many.
I totally missed that because you were all doing Aga Tower at the same time, and I'm like, okay, they're all still in Aga Tower, so I totally missed that you had to do it twice.
I missed it, and chat didn't even comment on it. Somehow no one saw that.
I mean, I saw it and had to sort of talk myself down afterward, but that's what happens.
We do have a 9th place finisher, Tiverius, with 1 hour 59:40, and it looks like Jossum Sauce has defeated Ganon and crossed the bridge. Get your GGs in chat. Jaws finishes 4th on the restream, 10th overall with 2 hours, 1 minute, and 41 seconds.
And that concludes the restream because all the remaining runners... Sorry, that concludes the race because all the remaining runners have forfeited.
Yeah.
Including a comment from one of the runners who forfeited. Not going pod because you have your hookshot from desert. Feels good, man.
Yeah, another
this...
comment is, love a 30-minute Ice Rod hunt.
Yeah, Hitsu probably did the thing I did, and Hitsu gets mad about those seeds more than I get mad about them, and I get mad about them.
Yeah, so I guess my question for Incoherent, you and Jossum Sauce and Dave's Cloud all followed that flute to Mire. Why did you decide to full clear Mire rather than dipping pod, just given the relative number of items?
To be clear, this is a metagame play. If it's pod, I've already lost.
I'll be curious to see. Jossum Sauce looks like he will be joining us in a moment, so it'll be interesting to see. Because, as mentioned, 3 out of the 4 runners on screen all did that. Everyone that didn't find Ice Rod early.
Because you figure that if you miss anything up to the, like I said, if you miss anything up to the mitts, you go to pod because it's the best option, and you find the Ice Rod there, and then you have mitts go mode, and you don't have the double dip TR and all the other stuff, and so you win by a lot.
So we do have Jossum Sauce with us here as well.
Hello.
GG.
Oh man, I would like the beginning back. Can I start over? I got like really distracted randomly, like 20 seconds in, or like outside of Sanctuary after I was going for the mushroom, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Shoot, too late. And so I made decisions the rest of the seed based on trying to make up time for having a stupid opening. It is what it is.
So the question was just posed: why Meyer instead of Pod?
So
3 of our 4 on-screen runners did it.
So I was in this to metagame against Jesse, being my league teammate. So if you notice, I went to so Meyer first because I was trying to save the portal in the first place, like just by not coming out of the dark world. Unless you know what I mean? Like I was just like, okay, so let me go check this one little space here with Meyer Shed, hope it's there, whatever. And then since it wasn't anywhere else, I just had to keep going. Also Green Pendant Meyer. But the metagame against Jesse was when I went to turn in Green Pendant, I was going to go to Pod. And I'm like, nope, Jesse's going to go to Pendant Pod because we always talk about Pendant Pod. I'll do everything else first. And I was wrong. Very wrong.
I hate to say it, but I don't think that person's here. Pendant Pod is always the answer, I guess.
Yes. It definitely is. It just, I knew you were going to do it. You hadn't finished yet. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do everything else here.
Yeah, that was a weird thing, is that I'm like about to finish with TR and I'm like, wait a second. Or like maybe I'm like halfway through Meyer and I'm thinking, nobody's finished yet. What's happened?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing was the flute. The flute being, was it in Super Bunny? So somewhere up there. That was like, okay,
where it was?
Let's check that first. So that's part of why Meyer was important to me. But again, I was going to TR in the first place, trying to make up time as a super gamble. So had I not botched the beginning as much, I probably would have done all the Smith chain stuff first.
You know, you say super gamble, but Days Cloud and Incoherent did the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, like you're missing one item from go mode, even if it's the Ice Rod. DDM and TR is definitely the play.
Yeah, no. If I had found the mitts first, I would have been on Dark Death Mountain after doing ice, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
This is fascinating information we're getting from Homemade Beer in chat. Just to show you that the seed wasn't totally linear. He didn't go into Desert because he didn't have the boots, so Pod was the only place he could go after he beat Aga 1. And then he was forced into Desert.
Yeah, again, with the skipping part of the progression chain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I avoided Desert for a bit, so that's why I full cleared Hair at the time, but...
Same.
Yeah, I didn't want to do Energy Land Moles. I'm terrible at Energy Land Moles.
Right, you guys all got like a nice Fire Rod Landmos in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And seriously, you all did a great job with Fire Rod Landmo.
Oh yeah, I felt great with Fire Rod Landmo today. Both of the fights.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Oh yeah, the ones in Desert, we had like 3 runners do it back to back to back, and all of them were a blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, so there's definitely a mindset difference between like a one-on-one race and a daily or a qualifier type thing where like you get this mushroom in the standard opening and you're like, is this important? How big of a gamble is it to wander over to the potion shop first?
Yeah, and I think that's also something that you all should keep in mind as quals are starting a week from Sunday now, that, sometimes you have to play to place rather than to win.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is sort of a risk management thing where in a big race like this, actually, it's sort of the opposite of the quals, where in a race like this, if you're playing to win, you take actually big gambles. And maybe early Aga is your gamble in the seed, and you feel like it doesn't pay out when you just get an Ice Rod out of it, but it actually would have. Whereas in a qual, you're sort of playing not to lose, which kind of works to the way I usually play anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been thinking about it, and that's kind of why I thought going and following everything into pod was the play. So, but I mean, you flip those items.
Yeah.
And yeah, that actually segues into the next thing. How are you guys feeling a week and a half out from quals starting with this mode?
My practices have been terrible. This was less terrible than those because I didn't die to anything that I wasn't supposed to. So I'll give myself that.
I've been feeling very hot and cold, to be honest. I'll have seeds where I do something really and I feel great, and then I'll have another where it's just like, what did I do today? You know, oh, I died to moth 3 times. Sure, why not? I mixed up what logic is, and I forgot how it all works with these items. Great, why not?
Yeah, you guys did a nice job with your fighter sword moth.
Thank God I had a blue potion.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a potion
Yeah,
fairy.
everybody
I
did
was
that.
yeah.
Just to actually, because Drusty, your question as to how everybody felt going into it, we do have a comment from our 4th restreamed runner in chat about how he feels going into it. The answer was good before this one.
Yeah, I feel 50-50 too. It's like I'll have half will be like this, where I'm just kind of wandering around aimlessly, and sometimes I'll be locked in. So just have to hope that the qualifiers I pick to do are the ones I'm locked into.
Yeah, and you still get your worst one dropped, so that's something. As long as you don't have more than one bad game out of 5, you're fine.
And I will say, having a bad run, I think I don't want to speak for everybody, but you look for the good things you did in a bad run. So even with this one, I felt some things where I'm like, ooh, yeah, that was a good decision I made on that part. You got to look at the micro level sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I made the right decisions. Just they didn't pan out, and that's how this goes sometimes. That's rando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also in a horrible seed like this where everyone has a really high time, it's not going to ding you too much either, since your time, it's not your absolute time that matters, it's your time compared to the top 5 finishers, top 3 finishers, something like that.
Yeah, but somebody big brain stuff like this, and then you're just screwed.
But see, that comes down, that can come down to what we were mentioning earlier about sometimes when people take gambles. If it's, say, top 3, and the top 3 make some ridiculous gamble and get it, then they could be way ahead of everybody else, potentially.
Yeah, we just didn't see that on this seed.
Nope.
I think what happened more is we took the big gambles, and Jesse did the pendant pod play that you're always supposed to do, and don't gamble, I guess. Pendant pod is always the play until it's not. But that was fun.
Yeah, GG's. And thanks to all of our runners for joining us today. Please do give them a follow.
I mean, thank you for, putting on the show here on this end. It's always appreciated to have the commentary and tracking and the restream up.
Yeah, thanks for not turning me off 20 minutes after everybody else finished.
And also, thanks to our trackers today, Mad Ewok Herd and Professor Pixie. Dividing it 2 and 2, it's still, super important for us. We can't, as comms, keep track of 4 screens at the same time. As you saw, none of us even noticed until you're inadvertently mirroring out of Agatower. So, yes, our trackers are hugely important, and we really appreciate their work here.
Yeah, I can definitely echo that. This would be almost impossible to do proper commentary without those trackers.
Agreed. I've done enough commentary to know if I can't see what's been picked up, I will miss a ton.
And Zethno, I'm glad we finally got to comp together. I've been seeing you around a lot, and we've never actually been paired before.
Yeah, agreed. So I think, does anyone have any final thoughts on the seed before I think we close out?
I think I'm all good tonight.
I'd just like a seed that would give me bombs and escape for once. If I could have that, please. That's about it. That's it, though. Thanks, everybody.
So for the rest of the evening, we actually have Super Metroid Randomizer League going on. We have matches that just got underway at 11 on Speed Gaming, and Speed Gaming 2 will probably bump you over to one of those when this is done. We actually, in Speed Gaming Main, we have Shack Tools Digging Game, a team from the Link to the Past Randomizer League that is now doing the Super Metroid Randomizer League. So that should be fun to watch. In terms of ALTTPR itself, our next daily is at 2 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time. Hasn't been assigned a channel, but keep your eyes on the schedule for that. That will be the same mode as this, another stand hard. We're running that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays to help runners prepare for the main tournament, which kicks off a week from Sunday on the 21st. And will also be broadcast on one of the Speed Gaming channels.
So I think talking about all the stuff that's going now and about to be ongoing, it's a good moment to remind everyone that if somehow you're not following this channel and the other Speed Gaming channels, it's a good idea to do that so you don't start missing all of these really cool events that are going to be coming up.
Absolutely. There are quite a few tournaments going on. The big thing at the moment, there's that Super Metroid League, there's a Super Mario All-Stars tournament. We got all sorts of stuff going on here, so definitely give these channels a follow, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6. And I think that'll do it for us tonight.
Yeah, we hope that you enjoyed the stream and you had a good time here with us, and hope to see you next time.
Have a good night.